You mentioned Skynet a couple times, a scenario where the machines take over. How realistic is that?
So when I say Skynet, that's an interesting thing. I'm less afraid of a ubiquitous war game style computer. I'm more afraid of giving weapon systems the ability to determine if they should fire or not. Or so AI with a weapon system seems like something that's dangerous, right? When people say Skynet, they think of it as a system that's in charge of weapons that can make the decision to fire or not. I would posit for you that it is just as dangerous to have an old system with poorly coded fire controls that may have bugs in them that could, the dangers are everywhere. Old archaic systems are not safer because they're not AI. They could have any number of flaws that they had to verify for. So there have always been issues in the systems, design flaws, things like that could cause problems. What you're going to see with AI is a different sort of problem to be concerned about, which is dangerous because we haven't dealt with that sort of problem before. But there's always been problems, there's always been dangers, and there's always been risks. When they set off the first atomic bomb, there was something like a 0.3% chance it could ignite all the oxygen on Earth. That doesn't make it okay to do that by any stretch of the imagination. But what I'm saying is, fears have always existed in these sorts of systems. The question has been, what's an acceptable level of risk control? When you get to a Skynet or something, you're automating away the risk control. That's incredibly dangerous. Human intervention, I'm just not comfortable with not having a human in some loop with those things. I think the danger is when you take a human out of the loop, the unexpected things that would be design flaws in yesterday's sort of weaponry, it's the unknown now. We don't even know what could go wrong. We understand from previous sort of sensitive systems and things like that, we knew what we should be looking for. We were concerned about dividing by zero or something that would cause the system to shut down. And we've learned how to build rules and processes to manage that. The danger with these AI systems is we don't know the rules, we don't know the processes, and we give them sometimes the ability to design their own rules and processes. That is where it can go awry very fast. And that's why we need to be very cautious and ethical about how we use it. It is a bad idea, in my opinion, to give autonomy to a system in charge of those things. It is just irresponsible. We still require humans to do that sort of thing.
Okay. I'm sometimes wondering why we would even want to give autonomy away to a system.
Well, so that's the whole thing. I don't know why we'd want to, right? I agree with you on that. Like the whole fear of a Skynet or something is it's a system that can make decisions for itself that benefits itself over humans, right? And the traditional approach is a weapons system, but it could really be anything. It could be the Panama Canal. It could decide that it's not going to open the gates and let people through anymore. The real question is decision-making authority. We're really just not comfortable as a species handing that off yet, and I don't think that's without base. I think until we fully understand the contours of these problems, which we don't, we're still in the early days, we're just simply not comfortable as a species turning that level of control over to things. The small version of it will be traffic lights and things like that. But those still pose AI problems. The traffic lights, if those malfunction, someone could die, right? So across the scale of AI, these problems exist. We're not at a point where we just let AI run and we trust it. It is still very much a monitored and controlled process, and for good reason, even on things like traffic lights.